Shri Ganapati Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Charitam Raghunathasya Shatakoti Pravistaram Ekaikamaksharam Pumsam Mahapatakanashanam. Welcome to all for this session on Sri Rama Charitha Manasa. In the last chapters, we saw on one side Girija, born in the house of Himavan, is interested in getting married to Shiva, and she is performing a severe austerity in order to please Shiva. While on the other side, Shiva, deeply immersed in his trance state, was persuaded by Sri Ramachandra to marry Girija, and then Shiva called upon the seven sages to go and meet Parvati and find out her love towards Shiva. Shankara cherished the impression of the vision in his heart. That very moment the seven sages called on Shiva, the Lord spoke to them in most charming accents. Going to Parvati, you put her love to the test, then directing her father Himalaya to send Himalaya to her and send her back to her home and dispel her doubts. There are the seers. There the seers saw Gauri, another name of Parvati, as if she were penance itself personified. The sages said to her, "Here, O daughter of Himachala, why are you practicing such rigorous penance? Whom do you worship and what do you seek? Why not confide to us the real secret? I feel," and at that time Gauri or Girija replied back to them, "I feel very shy in making my submission. You will be amused to hear of my folly, yet my mind has taken a rigid attitude and heeds no advice. It would rise a wall on water, relying on the truth of Narada's prophecy. I long to fly even without wings. Look at my madness. I always covet Shiva as my husband." Thus replied Girija to those seven sages. Hearing the above reply, the sages laughed and said, "After all, your body owes its existence to a mountain because she is the daughter of Himachala. Tell us who could live in his home, whoever listened to Narada's advice." Because Narada himself is always considered in every story as a very cunning sannyasi, but however, the works of Narada always be in the direction to do good to the world. He means Narada called on and admonished the sons of Daksha, and they never saw their home again. It was he who ruined the home of Chittaketu, and again Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlada, met the same similar fate. Men and women who listen to Narada's advice are sure to leave their home and become mendicants. Willful at heart, he bears on his person the marks of a pious man. He would make everyone just like him to become a sannyasi. Relying on his words, you crave for a husband who is pathetic in by nature, devoid of attributes, shameless, homeless, and naked, who has an inauspicious look about him, wears a string of skulls around his neck, is without a family, and has serpents for his ornaments. Tell us, what happiness do you expect by obtaining such a husband? You have fallen an easy prey to the machinations of that impostor. Shiva married Sati at the intercession of some friends, but later on, he abandoned her and left her to die. Shiva is carefree now. He lives on alms and enjoys a sound sleep. Can woman ever stay in the house of a habitual recluses. Even now, accept our advice. We have thought of an excellent match for you. Exceptionally good looking, pious, agreeable, and amiable, whose glory and exploits are sung by the Vedas. He is free from blemish, is a mine of all virtues, and the Lord of Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity, and has his abode in Vaikuntha. Such a suitor we shall unite with you. Hearing this, Bhavani laughed and said, "You have rightly observed that this body of mine is begotten of a rock, Himachala, and she being the daughter of Himavan. I would sooner die than give up my tenacity. Gold is another product of rock which does not abandon its character even on being consigned to fire. I may not ignore Narada's advice, whether my house is full or desolate, I fear not. He who has no faith in the words of his preceptor cannot easily attain either happiness or success, even in a dream. The great god Shiva may be full of demerits, and Vishnu may be a repository of all virtues. One is, however, concerned with him alone who gladdens one's heart. Had you met me earlier, O great sages, I would have listened to your advice with reverence, but now that I have staked my life for Shambhu, who will weigh his merits and demerits, if you are specially bent upon uniting a pair and cannot help negotiating a match, there is no dearth of suitors and maidens, and those who take delight in such games know no weariness. As for myself, I must wed Shambhu or remain a virgin, no matter if I have to continue the struggle for 10 million lives. I will not disregard Narada's admonition, even if Shambhu himself tells me 100 times to do so. I fall at your feet, continued Parvati, the mother of the universe. Please return to your home. It is already getting late. Seeing Parvati's devotion, the enlightened sages exclaimed, "Glory, all glory to you, O Bhavani, Mother of the universe. You are Maya, while Shiva is God Himself. You are the parents of the whole universe." Bowing their head at the feet of Parvati, they all departed. A thrill ran through their frame again and again. The sages then went and dispatched Himavan to Girija, and he, with many entreaties, brought her home. The seven seers then called on Shiva and told him the whole story of Uma. Shiva was enraptured to hear of her love, and the Saptarishis gladly went home. And the all wise Shambhu then concentrated his mind and began to meditate on the Lord of Raghus. A demon, Taraka by name, flourished in the meantime in those days. His strength of arm, glory, and majesty were great indeed. He conquered all the spears as well as the guardians of those spears. All the gods were robbed of their happiness and prosperity. Knowing neither age nor death, he was invincible. The gods fought many a battle with him and lost them. They then went to Virinchi Brahma and told him their grievances. The Creator found all the gods miserable. Brahma assured them all, saying, "The demon shall die only when there is a son sprung from the loins of Shambhu." for he alone can subdue the demon in battle. Hearing what I say, act accordingly. God will help you and plan will succeed. Sati, who left her body at the sacrifice performed by Daksha, has been born again in the house of Himachala. She has undergone penance for winning the hand of Shambhu, while Shiva has renounced everything and sits absorbed in contemplation, although it is most unseemly, at here one proposal of mine. Approaching Cupid, the god of love, send him to Shiva and let him disturb the serenity of Shankara's mind. Then we shall go and bow our head at Shiva's feet and prevail on him to marry even against his will. In this way alone may the interests of the gods be served. Idea is excellent, said everyone. Gods then prayed with great devotion, and the god of love, armed with 5 arrows and having a fish emblazoned on his standard, appeared on the sea. Thus, in this part of the story, all the devas have decided to ensure the union of Shiva with Parvati, because by this time Parvati, who is already more interested in marrying Shiva, had performed severe austerity in order to please Shiva, and this is also made known to Shiva, who tested her devotion through the 7 sages, and is also been persuaded by Sri Ramachandra himself to marry her. नमस्ते शारदा देवी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी त्वामहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्यादानं च देहि मे बाय
श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भयदारुणं श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भयदारुणं श्रीराम 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 श्री